Welcome back to Oulton Park, where Shaky Byrne has had it all his own way so far this weekend, but a lap record on the penultimate lap of race 1 sees Josh Brooks start race 2 from pole position ahead of Byrne and Ruichi Kianari on the front row. Let's get back to our commentary team for this one of James Whittam and Jack Bernacle.
Under increasingly gloomy skies here at Oulton Park in Cheshire, we set off on a warm-up lap for the second race of the day in the MCE Insurance British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. Josh Brooks off pole position, a man who since 2008 has never finished outside the top 5 in either World Supersport or British Superbikes, whichever series he was contesting, and who 10 years ago won the World Supersport round at Phillip Island in Australia, and a month later broke his pelvis in a nasty racing accident that put him out for 8 months, but he came back to win the Australian Superbike and Supersport Championships. Can he win the British one this year? He'll have to deal with Shaky Byrne on the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki. 75 points and 3 race wins out of 3. Leads James Ellison by 27 points. Josh Brooks is third on 40. Chris Walker on 31 is joint fourth with Stuart Easton. Tommy Bridewell runs 6th ahead of Dan Linfoot and James Westmoreland, with Ben Wilson 9th and Richard Cooper 10th. 11th place for American John Hopkins, ahead of Japan's former champion Yuichi Kianari, who so unluckily went out with a mechanical fault in the first race. Jakob Smertz, Millsport Ducati, is 13th with 13 points, ahead of Martin Jessup, Michael Rutter, John Kirkham, Patrick Muff, Josh Waters and Harry Hartley. The grid is, of course, based on the fastest laps from the first race, and the new lap record was set by Josh Brooks on the Milwaukee Yamaha in the closing stages. He takes pole position, therefore, from Rapid Solicitors Shane Byrne and build-based BMW's Yuichi Kianari. Second row headed by James Ellison from Tommy Bridewell and James Westmoreland. Third row, Chris Walker, Stuart Easton and Richard Cooper. And on row 4, Dan Linfoot, John Hopkins and Jakob Smertz. 27 riders on the grid then, and those are the main men at the front. This is going to be another dramatic confrontation. As Josh Brooks said to James Whittam on the grid, he needs to get a decent start and make the early laps count. Josh Brooks, Milwaukee Yamaha, there is his teammate Tommy Bridewell on row 2. Brooks needs the start off the front row. He's on the right. Lights go out, clutches out, throttles, flat stick open down the road towards Old Hall, and a terrific start from the second row by Ellison. Swoops round the outside of Shaky Byrne, demotes Byrne to third place. Brooks leads it on the way down to Cascades.
Yeah, he's made the start he wanted as Brooks, no excuses now. Not that he makes any anyway. He just knew he had to get into his rhythm. He says it, he made a couple of mistakes, that cost him time once. He's smooth that. We said it around here, he got to be smooth and confident and not making any mistakes.
Oh, look at that.
Shaky. And do you know the best thing about that? He made it look so easy, without anybody running wide and any fairing bashing.
And here's Walker. Walker cuts underneath and decides he's going to make amends for his first race mistake and sides through into third place.
Well, Alzheimer's must be setting in with Walker by now. He probably won't remember that crash in the first race, Jack.
So Walker runs third for the Lloyd's British GB Motors team. Brooks leads it on that distinctive red, black and white Yamaha. Behind him, number 67, Shaky Byrne. Then Chris Walker, then James Ellison, then Stuart Easton. Looking as every
It could be Hutchinson.
It is. Ian Hutchinson on the FFX Yamaha certainly didn't make any ground up by going grass cutting there, but look at Shaky Byrne. You can see that he is in a rush to get to the front.
He is, and he will get to the front, I think, but Brooks knows he has the pace. All he's got to do, what he'd probably expect Shane Byrne coming past or being with him at some point.
Tommy Bridewell's running in 6th place behind those 3 as they go down Deer Leap. But Ellison's lost valuable contact with the leaders through being overtaken by Walker. So the 2 Kawasaki's locked together. The teammates, of course, as Ellison cuts through inside Chris Walker.
Look at Chris Walker cutting immediately to the inside, knowing that Ellison's going to run wide. There wasn't a way back for Walker, though.
Former AMCA motocrosser, he's probably still used to ducking out of the way of the roost, mate.
Yeah,
as they come. Oh, look at this. Burns going to try the same move again. Oh,
no.
But then, oh, dear me. And he's still there.
Yeah. Is he going to be there?
Well,
yes.
I tell you what, a 36-year-old father of two ought to have more sense than that.
And
really.
do you know what? When there's a move there, if it goes wrong, it's going wrong for quite a long time. That's why I didn't speak that much there.
Oh, look
Brooks
at this.
Back at him.
Brooks just, that's the first move we've seen.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that move that hasn't gone wrong. So they both got round.
Brooks retaliates through Britons, and somehow, without taking the curb with his crack case, he forces a way through inside Shaky Burn.
Look at this is incredible. There's not enough room. There's one line, completely one line. Luckily, Brooks showed Shaky's wheel, and they gave each other room, essentially.
Launching over the top of Clay Hill, as if we haven't had enough excitement from one day. This is Shaky Burn, running in second place. 3-time champion already, and 54 times a race winner. Just ahead of him, Josh Brooks. And running behind them, James Ellison, Chris Walker, Stuart Easton, who's won here before, Tommy Bridewell in 6th. And then Cian Ari, a better start for him. He's running 7th ahead of Linfoot, Cooper and Westmoreland. I'm actually surprised that Brooks is that desperate to stay at the front.
You know, I thought that once Shaky got in front, oh, there we go, look.
That's John Kirkham.
Yep.
Oh, and that's Cian Ari he's cut through. Oh, what does that...
Something's hanging off his bike is what he's doing.
Oh, really?
No, something's coming out of his bike or hanging off his bike, yeah. You know, if you're following a rider where it's leaking oil, it's smoking, and a rider may have a problem he doesn't actually know about, you would give him a knock, you know.
This is Keogh's second retirement in the same part of the track. At least he got to the penultimate lap last time. Keogh's out.
I can't see anything hanging off us coming out of smoking, or I don't know what that's about, but clearly John Kirkham saw something that frightened him a little bit and wanted to do the safe thing, really, which is good.
Look at Ellison. Ellison has suddenly clawed his way onto Shaky Burn's back wheel. Oh, Shaky constantly seems to just lock up a bit going down here. And Yuichi Cian Ari actually had a new engine fitted for this race in the build-based BMW camp.
Yeah, his first one went twang, but you know what I think? Maybe a hose clip loose, a little bit of fluid coming out, or something like that, I would suggest. And you know, if you're the following rider, you may well be the first to know that the rider in front has a problem. He might not know. There might be a little bit of oil coming out, go on your visor, go on your screen, and yeah, safest way of doing it is that. Tell the man, if you can, it's not easy.
Look at Josh Brooks.
I know,
he was two-wheel drifting there into Lodge Corner and looking really mint. Fastest lap on the last lap was Ellison. On that lap, it was Josh Brooks with a 1:35.581, and that's very close to his new lap record.
Yeah, and this is, I thought that once Shaky had got past Brooks, I thought Brooks would sit behind him and hope that he'd drag him away from everybody else and have a dust-up last few laps. However, it would appear that Brooks thinks he can set the pace, and if he can do these consistent times, it'll be difficult for anybody to stop with him.
Bit of a head shake from the Kawasaki of Shaky Burn as he clouts it on the way through that fabulous left-hander. They fly through Island Bend at like about 120 miles per hour. It really is a scary turn.
And it's not a bump before it, it's a big undulation, and these things have enough power that even at 175 miles an hour, it still wants to lift the front wheel. You can't touch the brakes until the wheel touches the floor, so you've tons going on there. The more power you have, the more kind of issues you have with the bumps, because the bike just wants to wheelie everywhere. As Chris Walker put it, he couldn't believe that the top yoke was hitting him in the face every single sort of bump, you know.
The front six have just broken away a bit. Linfoot is now running 7th ahead of Cooper, Westmoreland and Kirkham. So Linfoot and Cooper running as well as they did during qualifying, having a strong race. But these 6 guys have really broken clear at the front. This is Shaky Burn. This is John Kirkham addressing Yuichi Cian Ari as he passes Keogh coming out of...
Yeah, so they're going into Oulton. There we go. No, I think he's telling him. I honestly think he's telling him something about his bike. I've done that and I've had it done to me. And that, I think, is Kirkham telling him, yep, there's something going wrong.
James, and do you take as instant a notice of it as that? Like, Keogh instantly put his hand up and pulled over.
Yeah, you do, because, you know, you would never get anybody coming past you and doing it for a little bit of a, you know, trick to gain it. You would never get that happen. If you did, you go up and slot them straight afterwards. You wouldn't happen twice, I'll tell you.
Even Cian Ari Shaky Byrne with the fastest lap of the race so far, 35.561. Gets right back onto the Milwaukee Yamaha's rear wheel, and James Ellison going with him as well with a 135.59. He was just 300 slower.
If you get a chance, just look at the back of that Milwaukee Yamaha of Josh Brooks. It looks really soft, and he went for a softer setup. He said when it was hard, it was aggressive round here and quite scary, and it's quite soft. And you look under hard acceleration, the top run of the chain, trying to pull that bike forward, will drag the rear suspension down. It looks really soft, and for me, quite compliant. That's how I always had my bikes. And you can see a little bit of movement coming out of some of the corners, and once the bike starts moving, you actually know where you are. It's when the bike isn't moving that you think, I'm not sure just where the limit is here.
That's Shaky Byrne running in second place. Ellison's behind him. Walker, look, we're forgetting the fact that Walker running strongly there in fourth place. He's got Stuart Easton for company now. And in fact, Easton's coming alongside him as they drop down to Lodge Corner. But Stalker, who's got a lot of history in that drop into Lodge Corner, isn't going to get tangled up.
I must say, it'd be a brave man who can get past Walker on the brakes.
Well, Easton's that brave man, because here he comes. He drops into Old Hall Corner and cuts through into fourth place. So Stuart Easton beginning to get to grips with his return to Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki in their superbike. The reigning super sport champion, of course. Easton, what a contrast in styles between these two, James.
Well, yeah, Walker's got a contrast himself to anybody who's ever in a bike.
Josh Brooks still in the lead. Shaky Byrne making sure that his threatening presence is extremely evident.
And the laps have settled down now to consistent but really, really fast laps. Those mid-35s are not too far off the lap record here, only a couple of 3:10. So, you know, we're not looking at people settling down here. We're looking at people still pushing on.
Dropping down the hill now into his chicane with Josh Brooks still leading the way. The 31-year-old Australian leads both of them, of course, former world superbike riders. Both Shaky Byrne and Josh Brooks diving through and up the hill. There is the battle once again being joined by Dan Linfoot and Richard Cooper. Linny just got the better of Cooperman in the first race, and he's just got the edge on him right now. James Westmoreland said that he would have better pace in this race. He's running there on the surviving build-based BMW, the lad with the yellow helmet, just off the back of the two Kawasaki's.
He's always mid-race, he always comes onto his own pace, which is really quick, James Westmoreland. Really good mid-corner speed, rides it like a 125 if that's possible. It's not, but as much like a 125 as you can. Massive mid-corner speed. Not brilliant on the brakes, Westmoreland, but just runs it in.
These two unlikely characters are putting on a terrific show, James. They're really, like, riding those Kawasaki's with terrific verve. Meanwhile, talking about verve...
Yeah, and Linfoot and Cooper are the quietest, nicest lads in the paddock. And
we think Ian Hutchinson's fallen at Lodge Corner, but the multiple TT winner is okay. Yeah, so Hutchinson off the FFX Yamaha, there he is.
Yeah, he don't want to be damaging himself at this time of year. He's got a northwest coming up, and then obviously the Alaman TT. What's he? Oh, it's going in. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to fall off, that's the way to do it. Well, honestly, if you lose the front going in, you're not going to get hurt so much. If you lose the rear coming out, it's probably going to hurt.
Very impressed with James Ellison, James. I mean, a man who's riding injured and you know, is admittedly having to work very hard with his upper body and arms.
I've got accosted in the toilet by one of his mates from Kendal. He says, you better say that the Kendal Massive, he called himself. I don't know what that means. I thought I'd ask a younger person.
Well, I'm the wrong person to ask then. Apparently there was a very small, eagle-eyed Kirkham had spotted a very small oil leak on Yuichi Kianari's bike. That would be to do with the rapid refit of a new engine, surely. It's
not likely he spotted it, it's likely he spotted the result of it, which would be misted oil on his visor and screen.
Ah, okay. Well done, John. While we're saying hello to the Kendal Massive, can I say also hello to a couple of lovely Irish lads, Billy and Elmer, who were enjoying their weekend at Oulton Park. Hope they're enjoying this battle as much as we are. That Kawasaki of Shaky's is loose every time he wallows through that bit going into Island Bend.
There's a massive undulation going. I can't call it a bump because it isn't. It's almost a roller, like a switchback, you know.
I think that's why Josh Brooks loves this place so much, because it's, you know, it's pretty close to a motocross track in tarmac in many aspects.
I think, do you know what, I was chatting with him kind of off camera, and he says he likes it. One of the reasons, you've got to be accurate, and it will bite you if you get it wrong, and he kind of likes that, you know.
Whoa, here's Ellison. Ellison tried to pull that move when he lost it and went onto the grass in the first race. This time, a clean pass on Shaky Byrne.
A little bit of a block pass, really, but...
All right, then, a block pass on Shaky Byrne.
What am I to say?
Oh, this is a great race. So now James Ellison has got his eyes focused on the Yamaha. Whoops. Oh, Keith Farmer's out.
Yep.
He's gone
and
down.
I tell you what, look at... Did you see the bike?
No.
It
was
looked
blue.
Well, yeah, it looked like the front end was kind of... It looked like it had dropped on the floor because the headstock was smashed, unless it was bearing bent.
Shaky Byrne is back in front of James Ellison. I thought that just as we moved away from the leaders, I thought Ellison had made a mistake and overshot at the top of Clay Hill.
Clearly he has. He's told me that he's struggling upper body strength because he hasn't got the strength in his legs to move muscle the bike around with his legs and feet. He's having to put more effort in with his upper body, and that's why he's struggling to do that and to maintain his kind of strength upper body towards the end of the race. Yellow flags, I saw yellow flags there.
That's where Farmer's gone off, because Farmer's had a massive off-through here, which probably explains why the bike is in pieces.
Yeah, they're just dragging it off now. It would suggest there's 15 people around it that it isn't wheelable on its own, so I reckon the headstock is smashed out of it.
Behind these three, we're on the 9th of already reaching half distance. Brooks, Byrne, Ellison, there they are. Behind them, Stuart Easton is 4th, Bridewell 5th, Walker 6th, Cooper and Linfoot at loggerheads in 7th and 8th with Westmoreland. And then John Kirkham is 10th, John Hopkins 11th, Jakob Smertz Ducati is 12th, ahead of Josh Waters, Michael Rutter and Patrick Muff, the two Batham's Hondas, to whom thank you for Michael the Blade Rutter for bringing two cratefuls of Batham's beer for us yesterday.
Yes,
Has anyone sampled it yet?
No, because I've got to say, he brought us 2 crates of Batham's beer that's disappeared.
Oh, they were down there, James.
Evaporated into the ether. Yes, they're not down there now, Jack. That's what I'm pointing out.
Ask these men around us. They're looking deeply, deeply suspicious. This is the battle going on. Easton is being closed on by Bridewell. Walker backing it into Lodge Corner. Look at this lot behind us. This is Richard Cooper. Oh, Westmoreland's cut through. He's got past Linfoot. Linfoot has been edged back to 9th place. And Kirkham, John Hopkins, beginning to get into the groove, is on the back of that group on the Taiko Suzuki.
Well, he needs something to salvage from the weekend.
And suddenly, a bottle of Batham's Delphales, the best bitter, has just appeared magically beside Mr. Whittam.
I will say, I'll stress that that's a singular, a bottle of Batham's. Shall we have a party then, lads, eh?
A guilty conscience. This is a great battle. Look at the BMW getting alongside, trying to get underneath Cooper. That
shot is really deceptive, that head-on shot. It looks like they've levelled with each other. They actually haven't. He's back at the front. Brooks still nipping it.
You know what you said about Brooks loves the accuracy.
Yeah, and you know,
it's extraordinary how accurate you have to be.
Have you noticed how quick he flicks from one side to the other? Gains probably not a tenth, but a little bit of time in between the changes of direction in the chicanes.
Do you know who he's learned that from? His hero, the great American motocrosser, Ricky Johnson. Johnson said that all you have to do is take a fraction of a second in every turn. That's what you do, just tiny, tiny bits.
And it took him a long time to work that one out, did it?
Well, you know, it could be the clue to a fast lap or a fast race. Josh Brooks, we've got some spots of rain around Island Bend, which is not a place you want too much rain. No, and that's the way the weather's coming. It's head on the start and finish. Here, it's straight in the face. So the bit of the track that will get the weather first is on towards Island and Shell Oil's hairpin. Well, just be careful, boys, out there. Will there be that kind of, is it lack of adhesion flag that will get shown to them, just in case at this point? It depends how bad it is. It depends in the opinion of the marshals. It's at their discretion. It's minimal, though. What you will be getting is, I hate the phrase, but it's called mental rain. You know, you get a bit of misting on your visor. That's bound to slow you down and play on your mind. However, until they get it doesn't. You don't lose adhesion or grip that quick, really. It needs quite a lot of rain, or quite a lot of spitting to actually cover the track and lose your grip. Do you know, there are moments, can I just say, we've got the four-time world superbike champion Carl Fogarty enjoying the racing here today, and there are moments when Brooks, as he peers round the ferry of that Milwaukee Yamaha, has a very foggy look about him in style exiting the turns.
Yeah, you know, when you're going one way on a bike and you want it to turn the other way, it's one of the techniques Foggy used that to get his body weight up to move the centre of gravity to the other side. You're also at that point putting weight on the opposite foot peg as well.
James Westmoreland is through now into 7th place. So Westmoreland has moved through to 7th place in that titanic battle. There they are, 5 of them locked together. Westmoreland, Cooper, Linfoot, Kirkham, Hopkins. There's Hopper. Hopper is, of course, married an English lady, very much of English parents, despite being as Californian as they come. Dropping down into the lodge corner, and there's James Westmoreland, 7th place. So he picked up that 7th place on that lap off Richard Cooper. Linfoot also got past Cooper. So Westmoreland, I reckon Westmoreland and Linfoot, it's a bit of a kind of red rag to a bull bit when one passes the other. Yeah,
the big mates, both 125 partners before, and also from the same part of the country up there in, I'm going to say, West Yorkshire.
Well, actually, one of them's East Yorkshire. Remember, he's right over near home.
It is,
so
yeah, Westie is, yeah.
That's as East Yorkshire as you can get for Westie. So number 3, Josh Brooks, leads the way. We're on the 12th lap, so we're coming up to 2/3 race distance here at Oulton Park, all 2.7 miles of it. Dropping down the hill. This is how long they now rejoin as they clip through here, and then veer left up veer right, sorry, up Clay Hill. This is where the old track used to be when it was first opened. It would just turn right and head off up Clay Hill, and now they're onto a bit of the absolute original 1953 circuit. Josh Brooks on the 12th lap of 18 leads the way just from Shaky Byrne and a very, very determined James Ellison, who, however much he may feel like he's struggling round here, just keeps on keeping on and holding the pace of these front guys, which is still mid 135s, 35.8, 35.8, 35.7, with Ellison the slightly quicker one.
They're impressive laps, considering it took all weekend to get. Well, only Shaky did get beyond that lap record, get below that lap record. Now they're doing it near it every single lap.
Across the line, the top 10 go through. Hopkins in 10th place, Jakob Smerts in 11th, and once again, Shaky Byrne just looking at that prospective inside line through Island Bend.
Problem with that, if you've got to be tighter on the inside of somebody at Island, and to go up the inside of somebody, you've got to brake a little bit later, and if you do that on the inside, that throws you really wide on the exit, and you can't stop it for the hairpin then. It is a real compromise on that when one corner leads into the next. See how quick that Brooks is through there.
Fantastic speed. I mean, that's like a 60-mile-an-hour second gear thing, but he gains a couple of bike lengths just on as he catapults out.
Yeah, and then Shaky's quicker on the faster parts of the track. It's swings and roundabouts, and a lot of that depends on bike setup. Obviously, you've got to ride your bike to its strength. It's all sliding there out of Nicky Brook.
And Ellison, I'll tell you what, that'll have taken a bit out of Ellison's forearms, just hanging onto that, James, just then.
Yeah, I mean, I've chatted with James Hayden quite a lot about, riding around the circuit and that, and we both agree that even in our day, with perhaps 140, 150 brake horsepower, it's a physical circuit. Now, with topside of 200, unbelievably physical.
Oh, that's Cooper's down. Cooper's down. This as at Hizzy, so let's hope it's not too heavy. So
well, where's the man? There he is. He's all right.
What a relief.
Cooper man's up.
So the Tag Racing Kawasaki crashes out. Cooper, he'll just be miffed with himself, but thankfully he looks perfectly healthy. The bike a little less so. So the Anvil hired Tag Racing Kawasaki, this is what happened to it. My goodness, no wonder it looks a bit second-hand.
He nearly stood up.
Oh, it's died.
High side it coming out the left-hander, back of the front.
Meanwhile,
these pair have put a little bit of time into Ellison.
James Ellison, I think it's beginning to tell now. On the 14th of 18 laps, the closing stages, it's now down to the 2 truly fit men here.
Yeah, Ellison, normally one of the most physically fit. I mean, he takes his training very seriously. Strong lad as well. but he's knocked about from Brands Hatch with a cracked pelvis.
Before we ever got here, James, he said, if I can just come away with some decent points, that's going to keep me on track. Once again, Shaky, what does he lock up?
No, he doesn't. It's not locking, that's his boot. He sticks his boot down. Yes, he's wearing the soles off his boot is what he's doing. It might be like I was at home. My mum wanted to buy me any new shoes until I'd worn the old ones out. And maybe Petra said the same.
Bizarre thing to do. Did he go to Clark's then, or did he use... Oh, Brooks! Absolutely out of the seat, going out of Druids. What a huge moment then. So it shows how... And his last lap, incidentally, was... Oh, it was almost another lap record. It was 1:35.466. So these guys are really pushing. That's why they've opened up a little gap on James Ellison.
It isn't to be doing that on the 14th of 18 laps this far into it. Look, watch it, lost the back. That's a... I cannot tell you how close that was to a big accident there for Josh Brooks. Really well controlled. What happens is you go over that roller, you want to get the throttle on, you're trying to punch it out the corner, the weight goes off the wheels, the tyres don't have as much grip, and out it steps.
This is the move at Island Bend. This is the one Shaky. Oh, at least I thought it was. Oh dear. Steady, boys.
Yeah, that's exactly the place where Fogarty broke his femur the first time, just over that roller. Exactly the same crash. Big high side, off he went.
So on the 50, have you reminded him of that? I'm sure he'll thank you for it.
No, I think he stopped putting flowers down at Druids now every time he comes.
Josh Brooks leads the way. It's Brooks Byrne. We're on the 15th of 18 laps, so there's only 3 laps to go after this one. Oh, Brooks backing in late and wide into Hizzies there.
He couldn't. He's safe in the knowledge that if you do make the corner, you're not going to get past there.
Oh, man.
Look at that.
He is just... He's running out of grip, isn't he?
That's just so nice, though. And did you know he just didn't shut the throttle? No. That was just beautiful. Kept the thing driving up the hill. Just lovely. That was just poetic for me, that.
Josh Brooks in flying form here still leads the way courageously at the front. Shaky Byrne hounding him all the way. Brooks, Byrne, Ellison. We've got 3 laps left.
When you're getting a lot of slides like that, it's difficult to keep pushing on and going into the corners at the same pace, knowing that you're losing a little bit of grip, but he's doing that. He has actually, the pace has dropped off slightly for the pair of them.
Thank goodness for that. all of 1:36.
Yeah.
So they're 0.2 of a second now. Once again, Shaky will be looking to do something as they go towards Island Bend. It's a constant setup that he wants to get moving here. And look, the Australian always keeps it fairly wide. We've got back markers ahead of us. Back markers in their sight now. Well, hopefully the back markers won't interfere as they did at the Brands Indy. Well, Ralph Leturco is one of them, and usually the London-based Brazilian keeps well out of the way. I've got a feeling, I hope who's the other one who's out there?
It's Baker.
Oh, it's Peter Baker, who definitely doesn't keep out of the way. So let's hope the 55-year-old Baker does.
No, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. He's got another chance to
disprove my theory. Here we go. Josh Brooks leads the way just for Shaky Byrne. This is going to be a vital moment because up Clay Hill, they've got to get the better of these two. And one of them, Ralph Leturco, moves out of the way. Peter Baker not so far as they go across the top of the hill. Now it's into Druids, and thankfully they dive underneath Baker. He keeps out to the left, and they are safely through. Josh Brooks leads the way just still from Shaky Byrne. They've got 2 laps to sort this out.
I just think Shaky Byrne has a little bit more rear tyre left, and I think that's getting him out the corners a bit quicker, and I think that might just give him a chance.
I think it's a very big chance, and but heroics at the front here for Josh Brooks. Once again, Shaky shadowing him as if waiting for the last lap. Dropping down the hill towards Cascades again, that high-speed weave on the Kawasaki.
Yeah,
into the left-hander. This is Shaky, of course, looking to try and go for a 4 out of 4 at the start of the 2014 championship, and once again trying to get level as they go towards Island Bend.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know, can we stop talking now for a bit and just enjoy this and see what happens?
This is pretty mesmerising, actually.
It is, isn't it? Because every bend you're wondering what sort of grip Brooks has and how comfortable Shaky looks. He's got...
And again, sliding mid-corner between. As he changed direction, he lost the back end, did Brooks, but didn't shut off. I mean, this is brave riding, I've got to say. From the pair of them, but from Brooks particularly, seems to have a little bit less grip than Shaky.
So he's got to keep, the main thing he's got to do is find sufficient grip to first get up Clay Hill and then get the power out of Druids to keep himself clear on the way to Lodge Corner. Shaky right with him as they drive up Clay Hill.
Shaky just has that little bit of drive out of the corner. I think he's just conserved his tyre a little bit better, or for whatever reason, Shane Byrne's got a little bit more traction and grip out of the corners. I'm not saying into, I'm not saying round.
Brooks momentarily getting defensive there, but then moving back out. He needs that kind of wide sweep into Lodge Corner. And as he drives up onto the start and finish line, this will be the last lap of British Superbike racing. Well, for this weekend, we'll be back at Oulton Park in August.
Brooks has a big decision. Does he now ride defensively? Does he try for a clean lap that gives Shaky a hard time to stay with him pace-wise? You don't know. You really don't know. I think into Lodge, if you're still in front, you've got to defend, because if somebody's going to have a go, it's their last chance.
Shaky gets a terrific drive out of Cascades. Brilliant drive out of Cascades. That's where he had it, but Brooks, sheer willpower, manages to hold it at the front, and Shaky's still trying to come inside him as they break into Shell Oils. Once again, the Yamaha squirrely as he breaks into the hairpin. Oh, dear.
He's drive again, he's drive all the way out
getting drive. The Kawasaki's getting so much drive.
But he's got to make it count. He has to make it count, and the place to make it count is either out of here, then into this. His chicane. He needs to get alongside and do him on the brakes. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it there. You saw the front of Brooks' bike dip last. Oh, he's gone in hot though. But you see, yes. Shaky cannot get back around him. That in a waste. Oh, and Shaky's at the.
Did he lose the front then?
Yeah, got a little bit of a slide at the rear.
And I was just going to say, Brooks needed to drive up the hill. That gave him a tiny advantage at the bottom of the hill.
This is Shane's last chance. He needs to get a really good drive out of Druids and put himself in the perfect passing place, which is into. I actually don't think he's close enough. Brooks is going to defend. I think he's going to defend, and I think Brooks has got it. As long as
Brooks can get the drive, get it stopped, get the drive.
He's got it. And well deserved, I'm going to say.
Josh Brooks will take victory at last. He dents the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki's domination of the British Superbike Championship of 2014. A simply tremendous ride, a tremendous win. Shaky Byrne second. What a contest. Third for James Ellison. Fourth place goes to Stuart Easton. Fifth place goes to Tommy Bridewell on the second Milwaukee Yamaha. And there's number 21, John Hopkins, dropping underneath us. Hopkins made a move. Westmoreland has finished 6th, just ahead of Linfoot. Walker finishes back in 8th place. Hopper, I think, is up to 9th for Taiko Suzuki. Behind him, John Kirkham just holds off Jakob Smertz and the Ducati for 10th place. Michael Rutter is 12th. Josh Waters 13th. An absolute joy for Josh's English lady friend, and Sean Muir, the Milwaukee Yamaha boss. And Mick Shanley there, the crew chief for this fella. Josh Brooks, what a ride.
You don't win him any harder than that. He had to use everything. A lot of riding skill, a lot of slides, he had a lot of mental pressure, a little bit of rain.
His 100% podium start to the season. James, you said before you want a top 2 finish, but under the circumstances, your fitness, the pace that the two were doing at the front, you must be happy with third.
Yeah, well, I felt like I had the pace, to be honest. I want to talk.
A little rider, come on, first TV interview.
I felt like I had the pace, to be honest with you, and then I passed Shaky, and then that same lap, going up over the hill and then into Druids, I lost the front and the rear with some chatter, completely lost the back, and I was like digging my knee and like that, and I managed to pick it back up, and obviously just still ran pretty similar lap times, but it was enough for them to break that gap. There's no way I was going to reel them in, you know, especially that pace. We were running, I think, 35s the whole lap, and I was, like I said, comfortable with them. Felt like I could have Shaky. That's where I thought I could have him in the first race, to be honest. So I managed to put the move on him, so I was happy with that. But I mean, it's 100% podium finish. There you go, mate. So I've got to be happy with that. Sponsors are happy. Martin Smith-Alverson's happy, and just want to say a massive thank you to the whole team. You know, they've put a fantastic bike underneath me and Chris and Kawasaki and all my personal sponsors. It's been great. So look forward to the break now and spend a bit of time with this little man and get 100% fit for the next one.
Hopefully he doesn't give you too many sleepless nights. He wants my job, never mind anything else. Thanks, James. Thank you, Ryder.
Bye, mate.
Okay, great stuff. All right, let's get a word with another one of the dads in the paddock, but it didn't look like it out there. That you weren't leaving much out there, were you, Shaky, today? You and Josh really on the pace. It was so fast at the front.
Yeah, it was a great race, and it was quite funny because the first race was all about me leading, and the second race was all about Josh. And you know, there were plenty of places where I could have a real good run on him, and if I lost any time, I could catch back up. But to put myself in a position to actually attack him and make a move was really, really difficult. But all credit to him, he rode really, really well. He set a fast pace at the front, and to come away from here with a first and second for Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki, I'm over the moon with that.
Brilliant. Thanks, Shaky.
Thank you very much.
And the winner of race 2 here at Oulton Park with a much bigger smile on his face than he's had all weekend is Josh Brooks. Josh, you started from pole position. You did exactly what you set out to do there and dominated from the front.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't know when the last time was I led a race from nearly start to finish. You know, it's so hard to lead. It's a tough thing to sort of set the pace. And when Shaky came past me in the early laps, I knew I couldn't let him settle into a rhythm because then he's hard to beat. He's one of those people, once he's in front and got clear track, he seems to get almost robotic and he's difficult to beat. So I thought, I'm going to have to throw the fight to him, and I didn't want to let him even give it a corner. You know, I just wanted to get straight back at him. So I made a very daring move, but I knew if I could get the bike parked in the middle, the lap time would be slow, but I'd have the pass made, and I made it clean. And then he come back again a couple of times through Island Bend, which is a fast section of the track, and I just kept closing the door saying, no, if you want it, you have to work harder than that. So, yeah, really pleased. I mean, the Milwaukee Yamaha team made changes between race 1 and 2. Clearly gave me a better feeling right from the start. I could push right away, so full credit to them for that. And really pleased to take the full points of the second race. And, yeah, just excited to go home and enjoy it and watch it on TV.
Yeah, first win on this bike, Josh. Does that give you the confidence now for the rest of the championship to get it under your belt?
I've felt really confident since round 1 at Brands. You know, I knew the win was just around the corner. I mean, it was all my mistakes at Brands that cost us from winning there. But I think, you know, I have believed that we can win. So now I've proven it, and we can just keep working from here. It's a good base to build from now.
Thanks, Josh. I think you can enjoy the break now. We look forward to seeing you at Snetterton.
Thank you very much.
Top man.
This was the second race of the weekend here at Oulton Park in the MCE Insurance British Superbike Championship, with Josh Brooks exploding off the line of pole position and James Ellison sweeping impressively around the outside of championship leader Shaky Byrne to grab second. It then went like this, with Shaky responding almost immediately with that astonishing pass going through Island Bend. Meantime, Chris Walker also dived through underneath at Shell Oils into third place. Shaky had another go at Josh Brooks at the same place. Was he going to make it stick? He was going to make it stick, but Josh wasn't too sure, and he was determinedly trying to grab that inside line. Shaky Byrne, no, got to the front. And then Josh produced this quite astonishing overtake going through Britain, the 60-mile-an-hour second gear chicane, and vaulted back into the lead on the Milwaukee Yamaha. Stuart Easton, meantime, got the better of Chris Walker on the GB Moto Lloyd's British Kawasaki. Down went the FFX Yamaha of multiple TT with Ian Hutchinson, thankfully uninjured before his date with the TT this year. Ellison charged through on the inside of Shaky Byrne. That mirrored a move he didn't quite manage to make in the first race. And then he had a huge moment there going out of Druids. Massive moment that allowed Shaky Byrne back in. Then down went Richard Cooper, having a brilliant race. The little Nottinghamshire lad went down, and the Anvin Hire Tag Kawasaki went down big time and colossally. Meantime, Josh Brooks on the limit of adhesion, having massive moments, but it was a big twitch for Shaky on the final lap that cost him a bit of drive up the hill, over the hill, and down Deer Leap. Josh Brooks it was who clung on to take his 17th British Superbike race victory. And here at Oulton Park, he puts himself into second place and Shaky's nearest challenger in the championship. So on the top deck of the podium, the first time, you know, that Josh Brooks announced himself to us as a British public was when he was on his way to third place in the World Supersport Championship in 2008, and he won at Donington Park. It was his only victory of the year. He had second places at Phillip Island, Monza and the Nürburgring, but suddenly he'd won for the first time in the United Kingdom. There's Andy Reid on the right there, who won earlier in the day in the Superstock 600 Championship, applauding the Australian who has won the second race here. absolute joy in the Milwaukee Yamaha camp as everybody attempts to... Oh no, Mick Shanley has been arrested by Shaky Byrne and James Ellison. He was desperate to get away from his man Josh Brooks. It's not been allowed to happen. What a horrible end to the weekend for Mick Shanley, the crew chief there at Milwaukee Yamaha. But the 16th win in 4 seasons and a bit in British Superbikes then for the former series runner-up Josh Brooks. And now the girls get it as well. Oh, Shaky Byrne, what ungentlemanly conduct. That then, ladies and gentlemen, was the second race of the weekend in the MCE Insurance British Superbike Championship. Congratulations to James Ellison, Shaky Byrne, and the winner, Josh Brooks.